Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The Judgement introduction in the Hanbali school. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Salatu wassalamu ala Rasulil Kareem. Rabbana taqabbal minna zidna ilma wa hikma huda. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad abduka wa rasuluka nabiyil ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam taslima. أعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها ومولاها اللهم شفنا أما بعد. All the praises belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes everything happen, and may the blessings and peace be upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So in the next chapter in the Fiqh of Hanbaliya, the Imam al-Sunnah Ahmad ibn Hanbal, he talks about judgments, where a person, they go to a court and the judge, he makes a judgment between two people. And bear in mind that the ultimate judgment is going to be on the day of judgment, the Yom al-Qiyamah, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives everybody the full and the complete justice. So these are the rules that the Sheikh he mentioned, Ibn Qudamah, about pertaining to things in the judgment. And the word in Arabic for judgment is qadi, yaqdi. And one of the terms that you have in the belief, you believe in the qada wa qadr. And so some of the ulama, they say the judgment is like the qada and the qadr, which means the qadr means the destiny, everything happens in the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the qadr means they happen for a reason. Allah judges something and He gives a repayment, either a punishment or a reward. So that's what we believe in. That's one of the essential beliefs in the iman, in the faith. So that's one of the things. So that's a very interesting thing. So this talks about the issue of judges, and you have in a town, people sometimes they get to disagreements, and then you have to go to the judge. So he talks about those issues that pertain to that. Okay, in the rules pertaining to that, inshallah. Okay, inshallah. And then bear in mind that these are just things in this world's life. And in the hereafter, the akhirah, Allah will give everybody the full justice, even the weight of a mithqala dharratin, the weight of an atom. That much of the scale is going to be completely perfect on the day of judgment. Allah will give everybody exactly what they're due, and Allah will ahkamul hakimin. So these are pertaining to things in the dunya over here. Should we like to read the first one, Sheikh Omar?
وهو فرضة كفاية.
Yes.
It is a community obligation.
Yes. So what happens is there's two types of obligations. Fardul Ain, which means every individual they have to do it, like praying the salat and fasting and things like that. The kifaya is a whole community. When you have the community or the city, they have the Muslims there, so it's an obligation to have the judges there so they can make the judgment between disputes between people. That's what they have. Just like, as an example, the kifaya, for the kifaya, they say like the adhan, when they say the adhan, it's obligatory on the whole community, but not necessarily on each individual. And the same thing like burying people, somebody they die, then on the whole community, they have to make sure the person, they get the burial in the janazah, but it doesn't necessarily have to be individually for a person. So the same thing with the judgment, for the kifaya is a ruling for it. That should be number 2.
The imam should appoint someone that is sufficient to judge.
Yes. So that's the case. The judge, they have usually they have a court and people they go there to do the judgments. So that's the one that's the imam. Back then the imam was the main leader in the city. Just like nowadays, if you look at America, you have people that are mayors in the city and governors and things like that. So they appoint people to be judges. So it's similar to that, the same thing. That's what the Sheikh said. That was back in the old days. The imam was considered not just, the imam means somebody that stands in the front. So not only would he be leading the salat, but also he would be the one that's in charge. So it was back in the old days. No, that's how it was. Okay, did you read number 3?
One that is qualified for it must accept the position if requested and no one else is available.
Yes. So what happens in the city, if somebody they're knowledgeable and they're qualified to be a judge, then the Sheikh is saying that they should accept it if he's requested to be the judge and nobody else is available. And that's something that's the people that are smart, they won't take the position as a judge, because Prophet Muhammad says that if they take the position as a judge, it's like they stabbed themselves with a double-edged sword. Because they have all that responsibility on their shoulder. The day of judgment, the way that they made the judgment, It has to be perfect. Anything that was a problem in the judge that they made, then they're going to be asked about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So people that are wise, they don't take that position as a judge. And same thing with many of the ulama from the past, they refused to take that position. But the people that were in leadership, they forced them to do it, they convinced them to do it, and they took that position. So that's what happened. In today's day, also many of the ulama see that they teach the ilm and the knowledge, but they also have the position of the judge. So that's why the Sheikh, he said that if somebody is knowledgeable, they know the rules of the things, then they should take that position, they shouldn't reject it, if there's nobody else to take it besides them. So that's what the Sheikh, he said. But people that are wise, and they would try to avoid it because they don't want to, because what they're doing is they're just taking extra responsibility. They'll be asked about it on the day of judgment if a person, they become a judge. That's what the Sheikh, he says. Okay? All right, inshallah, let's go to number 4.
If someone else is available, it is better to leave it.
Yes. This is Ibn Qudamah. He's a big alim, big scholar in the old days. So that's what he says. If a person, they're offered that position, if there's somebody else that can fulfill it, then he'd be wise to leave it, because then he doesn't put that responsibility on himself. The other person, they have the responsibility on it. If there is somebody that is available to do it and is qualified to do it, let them do it. Otherwise, that's what the Sheikh said. Otherwise, he should accept that position. Okay, so then let's go to the next part. He mentions the things that are required for a judge to be.
From the condition that he might be Rijal,
Rajulun, a man. Okay? This is one of the views in the Hanbali school. There's some other views also in the other madahib, in other schools, within the same school also, I believe so, I might say. And the reason for that is because the same thing goes as witnesses. They say that it's not allowed for a woman to be a witness for crimes. And the reason for that is because what would happen is people would get the revenge on her. She puts herself into harm. If she went to witness somebody stealing or somebody doing something violent or something like that, then what's going to happen? That person that she witnessed against, and he might come and attack her and hurt her and harm her and things like that. So that's why they say that to keep the woman safe, that she shouldn't be as witnesses, because he doesn't want to get harmed by the people that get in trouble. And the same thing for that's in the case of the woman. The same thing in the case of a judge. If the person is a judge and a woman, and she makes a judgment, and somebody gets mad and wants to get revenge on her, then what's going to happen? She's going to put herself into harm. So that's the reasoning behind it. That the ulama, they say that it should be a man that's a judge, and a man can defend himself and stand up for doing the appropriate things. That's the other thing. That's what he says. And then also some of the ulama, they say that sometimes women have a lot of emotions and things like that. And there's a hadith that says if a community, they have a woman as a leader, then they're not going to be successful. Because a lot of times a woman, what she does is she goes by feelings, by the feelings. And sometimes the feelings is not the appropriate answer. It's not things in the knowledge. So that's another. So a lot of ulama, they talk about that. So the first condition, it's got to be a man. That's what it says. But some of the ulama, they say if a woman is qualified, there's nothing wrong with that, for a woman to be a judge also. Okay, so the next one, number 6.
Hurr.
Free person, not a slave. This over here, the reason they say that, the ulama, they say that they want somebody to be a respectable person, that people they look up to and they honor. If somebody's a slave, then everybody looks down on the person. So he comes as a judge, then people, they don't have respect for him. So that's what some of the ulama, they talk about that. So a person, they have to be a free person, not a slave person. And that's a problem too also. If a person is a slave, and the slave's master will tell him, do this, 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 this. Then he goes up there to judge, then what's he going to do? And that's the issue. So that's another issue that he says. And also there's ikhtilaf also, even in the Hanbali school, I believe that some of the ulama, they have that. If the slave is the most knowledgeable, most qualified, then that's fine to be the judge. Okay, let's go to number 7.
Musliman.
Yes, Muslim. Person that have to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's one of the conditions. Okay, and number 8.
Sami'an, Basiran.
Yes.
And
Mutakalliman.
Mutakalima.
Yes.
hearing, seeing of speech, just and
Yes.
knowledgeable.
Yes. No, because what happens is when the judge is there, people, they come, the plaintiff and the defendant, and they bring their evidences and they say things, and so the judge, if he can't hear them, then how is he going to know what they're saying, you know? And the same thing with the sight, if he can't see what's going on, then, you know, then he's not going to be able to judge properly. So you have those issues. Then the third thing is mutakalliman, he should be able to talk because he might have some questions for the people or he might say things. So yeah, those are the conditions. That's what the Sheikh mentioned, that those are the conditions. You can't have a blind person as a judge because how's he going to know what's going on? You know, the people come. The deaf person, how can he hear anything that the people are saying? So that's the issue that's there. Okay? And also mutakalliman, the judge is going to respond to people, say things, so people are going to know if the judge has any questions for them or if he's talking to them. So that's the issue. That's why he mentioned those things. Okay, and then number 9.
Just, knowledgeable.
Yes, adlan wa aliman. So a judge should not be a criminal doing a lot of crimes and things like that. He should be a good character, a good person that doesn't do crimes. And also aliman, somebody that's knowledgeable, to know the rules of Islam and knows what the judgments are. So those are the conditions that the Sheikh mentions for a person to be a judge. All right? Okay, inshallah. And also nowadays you have lots of books of ilm and books of fiqh, books of knowledge. A person that studied that and they know what's appropriate for the rulings. You know, that's what they have nowadays. So a person, they should be studious of those things so they know what the rules are there, not follow their feelings and whims and ignorance, but have the knowledge of what they are. So that's another issue. So that's another thing about aliman, somebody that's knowledgeable. So he studied the tenets of Islam and the rules of Islam and the rules of the law, so he knows what's appropriate. Okay, let's go to number 10.
It is not allowed for him to accept a bribe.
Yes. Okay, so if a person, they're a judge, and if somebody comes and says, take this money and judge in my favor, and that's not allowed. That's bribery, and bribery is haram. Say rishwa is the word in Arabic, so definitely that's not allowed for a judge to accept a bribe as a bribe. I mean, that's obvious, you know? The judge should not accept a bribe. Take things from people to make a judgment according to their weight. That's not allowed. Okay? And number 11.
Nor a gift from someone who would not normally give
Give him a gift.
him.
Yes. Okay, so let's say the judge is judging between two people, plaintiff and defendant, then the plaintiff comes and gives him a gift. So you should not accept it. You should not accept that because that's a bribe, you know. That's really a bribe in reality. That's what he says. So you shouldn't accept gifts from people because those gifts are not actually real gifts. They're just bribes. They want the judge to judge in their favor. That's why they give him those things. So that's what the Sheikh said over here. That he should not accept a gift from somebody that normally would not give him a gift. Right? If there's somebody that he has nothing to do with him, they give him a gift so he can accept that because he's not being persuaded to do something. But if it's somebody that he has influence over, they give him a gift, it's not appropriate for him to accept it. Okay, let's go to number 12.
He should not judge before knowing the truth.
The truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so that's the thing that's important. When the judge makes a judgment, he's got to look at the whole story of what's really going on, not just listen to one side. And because on one side he'll say everything that's to his favor, nothing that's different from it. So the judge has to look and see what's really going on, all the details of what's going on, to know what's there, to know what the truth is about the things. That's one of the things that how a person they got to judge. Right? And also that's the thing about it. Not just have some of the evidences and leave the other ones. Know all the things that are going on. Okay, let's go to number 13.
If the matter is unclear, he should consult with knowledgeable and trustworthy.
Yes, if the judge is not sure what's going on, somebody they say something, then he should consult with the other judges, or he should look at people that are knowledgeable of the situation. Like for example, in medical things, for example, somebody they say something medical, maybe the judge doesn't know what's going to happen. So he'll talk to somebody that's knowledgeable of that field, and then they can tell him, what the scenario is, what the case is. So that's what the judge should do. He should consult with other people if he's not sure of the situation that's there. Otherwise, he's going to make a judgment without knowledge and end up making a wrong judgment. Okay, let's go to number 14.
He should not judge while angry.
Angry, yes. Because what the anger does, it makes a person say things that are not intelligent, not correct. To say things based on feeling. Like for example, the judge is there, he's angry at one of the parties there, and he's going to be very severe on that party because of the anger. So he should not make the judgment while in anger. And you see in the world today, when people they become angry, they do all types of drastic things, because they lose their temper, they have the anger and things like that. They don't use their sense. So the same thing for the judge, especially because he has the power to give the rulings on things. So he should not make the judgment while angry. And the Sheikh, he continues on other situations that are similar to that, where it impairs one's judgment, that they say in other situations. So number 15, can you read that one? Is that Sheikh Omar, number 15?
Nor in a state that prevent him from properly considering the issue,
Yes.
like excessive hunger, intense thirst, annoying pain, repelling the two impurities, extreme drowsiness, drowsiness, and worry, grief, and sadness, and joy.
Yes. So all these situations, the judge might be in a particular mood, and then what would happen is the mood would influence his judgments. So that's what they say about that.
Yeah.
This is the commentary they have on these texts here. This here is just a summary of the rulings in the Hanbali school. And Ahmad ibn Hanbal, he bases everything on the hadith and the ayahs in the Quran. And then the other people in the Hanbali school, they explain it in further detail. So this is one of the commentaries on the Umdah. So those are some of the things that he mentioned that it has an effect like anger, that make the person angry. So he mentioned those different things. Okay, inshallah. And then also another issue is that the judge shouldn't hate one of the parties, otherwise, he'll make the judgment based on the hatred, not on the justice. It's another thing to keep in mind. Okay, inshallah. So let's go to on the back, number 16.
He should not have a doorkeeper in the court preventing access.
Yes, so the judge should be open to everybody to come and talk to him and speak to him, not close the door and just listen to some people, not listen to everybody, but to give everybody a chance if they have a concern. That's the point that the Sheikh mentioned. That's the job of the judge, to listen to the people, not to only listen to some people and not close the doors to other people. And at number 17, read that one.
He must be just between the two disputing in access to him.
Yes. So what happens is if there's two parties, if he only tells one side to say the things and he tells the other side to keep quiet, don't say anything, then that's not just between them. He's got to give everybody a chance to say their point and their ideas and their things, so that he knows what's going on. So not just to hear one side and keep the other person quiet. So then it'll be preferential on one side. Okay, so read the number 18.
Wal majlis, wal khatab,
Yes.
and the courtroom and
Yes.
dressing.
Yes. So in the majlis, when the people are together, he's got to give a chance for both parties to say things. And sometimes that's what happens. Sometimes one party, the longer time that they spend, then sometimes then that's more convincing. Like let's say that one party he talks for like half an hour, then the other party talks only for 1 minute. Right? Then what's going to happen? Right? And usually it's going to be leaning towards the side that talked for 30 minutes. So the same thing. So he's got to give a chance to both of them in addressing him. And then also in the courtroom also, you can just say one person talk, the other person don't say anything, but also that in the courtroom, that's what the judge has to do. Okay, inshallah, so these are the things that the Sheikh mentioned, Sheikh Ibn Qudamah, about the judgment, and bear in mind that on the day of judgment, on the Yom Al-Qiyamah, then all these things will be brought to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the fullest of justice. وَنَضَعُ الْمَوَازِينَ الْقِسْطَ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ وَلَا تَظْلَمُ نَفْسٌ وَإِنْ كَانَ مِثْقَالَ حَبَّةٍ مِنْ خَرْدَلٍ أَتَيْنَا بِهَا. So Allah is going to raise the scales of justice on the day of judgment. Nobody's going to be wronged at all, even if there is like a dust weight of something to consider, then it's going to come out on the day of judgment. So I think that's the thing to bear in mind, inshallah. And also, if you look in the books of fiqh about the judges, it talks about that it is a very not a wise position to take, because a person they have a lot of responsibility that they put on themselves. That's what happens if they take that position, inshallah. Okay, inshallah. All right, inshallah. And then the other thing is also that, when a person, they make the judgment, they look at what's mentioned in the hadiths, in the Quran, and things like that. That's the thing to bear in mind in the judgment. Okay, inshallah. So this is a field that I really like, because, they have in America over here, they have the legal system over here. And you see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Lord of the worlds. He knows everything about this world. So when people, they study the law, they're studying knowledge. And they're studying, the reality about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the things. So they're learning, about the different rules and regulations, how it should be. And what happens is, over the course of time, eventually, a person, they're going to find out what the right ruling is, the right thing to do is. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that in advance. So you have that issue. And the other thing is, if you see the legal system here in America, what happened is they took it from the English common law. That's the basis of it. And the English common law, they took it from the Muslims, which back in the old days, they were the ones that were the most, influential in the whole world. And they had a whole judicial system. And then, the people learned from them, and they implemented there in England. And in America, they copied that system there. And you see, even nowadays, what happens is, people that are judges, not just anybody come and saying anything that they want. What they do is they study in the law school. And the law is, they study the law. And this law is the reality of what's going on. And one time I was there, I was surprised. There was somebody from Japan came here to America to study in the law school. I'm like, then you'd think that the Japanese law is different than the American law is different from Egyptian law and things like that. But actually, they're all from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so it's really the same thing, inshallah. Okay, inshallah, so we'll stop over here. Subhanallah. Do you have any questions or comments, Sheikh Omar?